Right, okay, well, we've got some of our finds from, this is predominantly from the Waggonway trench up the road there. Not many finds in situ, quite a lot from the removal of the machine overburden that we removed, and then sifting the spoil heap. Our nicest finds are probably the bits of the 1815 Waggonway, which we have found no remains of in the ground at all. It's all been ripped up, recycled, the stone has been used, the ironwork's gone for scrap and recycled. They've basically left us bits and pieces of fragments. We've got 2 iron chairs. These would have sat on the wooden sleeper blocks, the rails gone in the middle, and you can see the holes where they've been bolted onto the iron chairs. From our spoil heap, from the machining, we found this bit of iron fish belly rails. You can see that's the running surface there, and that would have slotted into the chair there. So we have 2 of these, both of them are broken. You can see they've tried to get the bolts out and they've fractured across where the holes are. So they've just binned them. They've kept the intact ones to reuse. Either melted down as scrap or reused on another bit of the Waggonway somewhere. We have this big chunk, which came out one of our test bits further to the north. And this is almost just not quite half of a fish belly rail. You can see that's the end where it slots into the chair. This one there, just like that. And you can see it's called a fish belly rail because it gradually gets wider to the midpoint and then narrows again where it would have sat into the other chair. So that's quite a nice chunky bit. That's the largest bit we've found. The trench it was from produced absolutely nothing else apart from this dumped in the backfill. And you can just see it's wrought iron. You can just see the laminations in the iron just there. So that's the only sort of tangible remains that we have up on the battlefield trench for the iron railway. The rest of it has gone. As you've seen from the other videos, we found 3 successive wooden railways dating, 1722, the original one, and then rebuilds on top of it. From the middle phase, which goes quite well with the glassworks down at Port Seton, we have all this industrial glass slag and waste, and that's rammed into the cobble surface, which is kind of the trackway between the 2 rails. And we've had that from previous seasons in the same location as well. It's just been used as cobbling. You can see the lovely colours there. So that ties the middle phase in quite nicely with the glassworks. And this stuff is cropping up in all our trenches. We're finding this all over Cockenzie and Port Seton. It's just been shipped out by the wagon load and used as surface material. Continuing on with the glassworks thing, we have from the trenches some quite nice chunks of early bottle. That's part of a mallet bottle. You can see that's the base of it, the base rim just there. It's broken off. The pontool would have been in here. And that's the base of an onion bottle. So you can see the foot rim coming round with the large pontool just there. Lovely, iridescent, beautiful glass. Early, mid 18th century. And just another bit, we have the neck of an onion bottle there. And you can just see the rim at the top. Sort of wine bottle type things. Again, probably the same date. From some of the trenches we got, remarkable survival, a complete little ink bottle. That could be quite early as well. We don't actually know yet. Somebody who knows their ink bottle typology will be able to tell us. You can see it's just slightly chipped around the rim, but that survived rather well, which is just an amazing find. As I said, the pottery we were getting, we've got some bit of this barleycorn plate. You can just see the barleycorn decoration on it. That's a big flat plate. So that's the interior of the plate there and the rim coming round here. George Haggerty, our pottery specialist, reckons mid-18th century, possibly made at the pottery of Cadell and Roebuck, just along the road in Preston Pans. And we have found this when we were doing our garden dig previously. So that's quite nice. Transfer printed ware, it's cropping up everywhere. Again, 18th century stuff, lovely stuff. We have, remarkably, 2 bits of personal adornment. We have this lovely little ceramic button, and you can see it's just got little flowers, either in a little love heart or a little berry just there. And on the back, it would have just had a little bronze hoop for attaching it to the clothing. That's possibly a lady's button off a coat or a waistcoat or something like that. Again, possibly early 19th century or 18th century, we just don't know yet. That's a thing for somebody to look at. But this is another lovely little bronze button, brass button. You can see it's got that little indentation in the top, and there is some sort of decoration around the side. So whether that's got anything to do with, you know, the Battle of Preston Pans, come off a Highlander's coat or a government soldier's coat or a civilian coat, we just don't know. Once that's cleaned up, you know, the decoration might be able to give us a better sort of date. But that's quite a nice little one as well. On the personal touch, quite an early bit of clay pipe. And rather unusually, that's the mouthpiece. And this is glazed. Normally, they're just a plain white pipe clay like that. But for some reason, this is slightly more special with that glaze on it. And you can actually see that white bit there and that white bit there is where the teeth, the guy's teeth, presumably a bloke, potentially a woman, their teeth has worn off the glaze as it's been clamped in their mouth, which is just a fantastic little personal touch. As you can see, we've got tons of stuff from field walking, and that's, you know, Victorian stuff that's been brought out and dumped in the fields. Tons of that stuff. One of the most enigmatic little things we have here, that little ceramic ball. Initially, we were thinking it was one of those little ceramic balls that came out the top of bottles to kind of seal them if you poured too much liquid out. But that triggered a little memory in basically the quietest book for Tranent Parish that Ed and Gary have been researching. And this is an article from the Gentleman's Magazine, Tuesday the 16th of March 1847. A most melancholy event occurred at Meadow Mill on the Sabbath morning last. A fine lad, about 14 years of age, who had been going along the sea coast as far as North Berwick and Dunbar in search of a ship, as he wished to go to sea. He spent a night on his going east and another when he returned west in the salt pans at Cockenzie, and he was playing at the marbles along with the other lads on the Saturday. He had found his way up to the coal depot at Meadow Mill, where there is a small brick house and generally a good fire, where the men who load the trucks retire to take their victuals. In this place he took up his abode for the Saturday night, and when found on the Sabbath morning, he was totally burnt to a cinder. Nothing remained except for his head, part of the backside of it also being burnt, and a few bones were picked up. He had got out, for he was found about 3 yards from the house. That smacks of being rather suspicious, as we thought at the time, because you can't really burn a body completely to a cinder without some sort of accelerant being poured on it. So that sounds very dodgy. But reading and remembering that and triggering that, finding that, it is in fact a marble. It's an old 19th century marble. You can see all the spiral patterns on it. So that's quite a poignant thing. It's a casual loss, but did it belong to the young lad who was burnt to the death at Meadow Mill? We'll never know.